Our discussion 6 hours ago, momentum and impulse. So when you say momentum, it is the momentum of a moving object which is equivalent to velocity times mass. And impulse is the change in momentum whenever an external force is acted upon a moving object. So we have in here our sample problem. Number 2, the 10 kilogram, the 10 kilogram or gram, the 10-gram black slides with a velocity of 20 centimeter per second on a smooth level surface and makes a collision with 30-gram black moving in the opposite direction with a velocity of 10 centimeter per second. If the collision is perfectly elastic, what is the velocity of 30-gram black after the collision? So in solving the problem, so you have in here mass 1, which is equivalent to 10 grams, colliding with mass 2, which is equivalent to 30 grams, and 10 gram with a velocity of 20 centimeter per second, and velocity 2, we have in here 10 centimeter per second. So assume, in solving the problem, assume initial momentum is equal to the final momentum. So remember that the formula for momentum is mass times velocity. So when we say initial momentum to final momentum, so we have in here delta P F is equal to delta EI. So which is change in momentum final is equal to the change of momentum in initial. So how do we do this, or what do we do? So we have to substitute the values for mass and velocity. So we have in here m1 v1 minus m2 v2. Why minus? Because it means colliding, because the body is colliding. So the sign convention would be minus. And then we have in here, if they collide, they will stick together, but it's not stated in the problem. It's not stated in the problem that it is not stick together, or it don't stick together or head on. And then m1 minus v1 minus m2 v2 is equal to m1 v1 prime plus m2 v2 prime, where v prime means after, and also we can say that before is just equal to after. Substituting the values, we have in here 10 grams times 20 centimeter per second, so minus 30 grams times 10 centimeter per second is just equal to the mass 1 v1 prime plus m2 v2 prime. Are we okay? So what do we do next? So we have to simplify the left hand of the equation. This is our equation. So we have in here 10 times 20 is 200 minus 300, so negative 100 grams centimeter per second is just equal to, substitute the value of mass because mass is constant whenever a body is moving. So we have in here mass 1 10 grams v1 prime, and then we have in here 30 v2 prime. So this will be our mnemonics, or our technique in solving the problem. If v1 is positive, then it will be negative after. So the velocity of the object 1 is positive at the initial. In the final, it will be negative. So you have to put negative, and then if velocity 2 is negative in the initial, it will be positive in the final equation, or the final velocity or final momentum. So yun. So simplifying the equation, so we have in here negative 100 grams centimeter per second is just equal to negative 10 v1 prime plus 30 v2 prime. This will be our equation number 1. This will be our equation number 1. So in Tagalog, kapag yung initial velocity mo is positive, and then hindi sinabing nag-collide sila or nag-stick together or nagsama, so papalitan mo yung sign ni V1 after. So kung positive si V1 sa left side ng equation, magiging negative si V1 dun sa right hand ng equation. So kung negative naman si velocity 2 at saka mass 2 sa left side ng equation, magiging positive siya dun sa right hand ng equation. This will be our sign convention. So for me to clear things, this will be our sign convention. When a body or object does not stick together. When a body or object does not stick together, use this. So M1 V1 minus M2 V2 is just equal to negative M1 V1 plus M2 V2. This will be our sign convention whenever a body or object does not stick together. M1 V1 minus M2 V2, you have to interchange the sign. This is before and this is after. So now we define our sign convention, so we can now solve for the problem. We're given, back to the solution, I'll just explain it. We have 10 grams with 20 centimeter per second velocity and 30 grams with 10 centimeter per second velocity. So we define our equation number 1, which is negative 100 grams centimeter per second is equal to negative 10 grams velocity 1 prime plus 30 grams velocity 2 prime. And then solving for the problem, so I'll just be copying our equation 1. So we have in here negative 100 grams centimeter per second is equal to negative 10 V1 prime plus 30 V2 prime. So what do we do next? So we are given that elastic, or it is perfectly elastic, meaning E is just equal to 1. So meaning this is perfectly elastic. When we say perfectly elastic, both momentum and kinetic energy is conserved. So we have our formula for elastic collision. We have in here E is just equal to V2 prime minus V1 prime all over V1 minus V2. So this is our formula for elastic collision or collision. This is the formula that we are going to use. So we can now actually solve for the problem. So I'll be just copying the formula and the equation number 1. So equation number 1 is negative 100 is equal to negative 10 V1 prime plus 30 V2 prime. So ito yung equation number 1. This is the equation number 1. So we have in here E is equal to V2 prime minus V1 prime all over V1 minus V2. So substituting the value when E is equal to 1, so 1 is equal to V2 prime minus V1 prime all over V1 minus V2. Cross multiplying, we have V1 minus V2